contest on that platform or not is not the issue. Now, the way about this is we have a technical committee of experts, experienced experts, who analyze all the possible political parties we could adapt and move in, and strengthen it, and upgrade it, and make it more suitable for competitive elections. That's our main goal. And Atiku has presented himself at all such meetings, and my reading of him is that he's committed to this cause. In fact, he's one of the most committed towards this cause. This I can tell you about Atiku. Now, as to the coalition itself, it is mostly driven by prominent politicians who agree to come together to form this coalition. It is not focused on which political party should form the merger. First, our options are this. Do we get another party that we could move into, modify it, upgrade it, and strengthen it for elections? Or do we register a new political party? We have technical committees of experts looking into both of this. And I am sure, as we speak, we are getting to the end of the process, and I think we'll soon announce a party that will move into, or maybe we'll register a new party. We are getting to the end of that. Nigerians are anxious about this. Every time we go out, people ask you, what of platform, what of platform? Since we are here to serve the people, we are speeding up the process to reduce the tension among our supporters. But I can tell you, in all the analysis I've seen so far, nobody has ever bothered about let's adopt PDP as the platform. We all agree that PDP has an incurable virus. No antibiotic can cure what is ailing PDP. And we don't want to go into a house that we cannot modify, that is not willing to change. So PDP is not in that.
Babachir Lawal, brethren. You see that guy? Don't underrate him. His work rate is really, really impressive. He is a criminal, right? Like documented criminal. However, he is considered as one of the unlucky ones. Let me tell you his story. From nowhere, from the blues, behind the scene, right? Bukwari picked him among the first 3 appointments of Bukwari in 2015. And he made him the secretary to the government of the Federation, the secretary to the government of Nigeria. A very powerful position if you care. Against the advices or pressure from the usual caliphate, because Babachir Lawal is a Christian from Adamawa. So when he became the secretary to the government of the Federation, he was personally, right, saddled with the responsibility of caring for the victims of Boko Haram. For you to know this, so Bukwari set up what he called Northeast Development Commission. And the purpose then was to ensure that the victims of Boko Haram who were living in IDP camps were returned back home safely to their communities. And those communities destroyed by the Boko Haram, whose houses and the rest were destroyed or burned down, should be rebuilt. And billions of naira, of course, was budgeted for it. Until Bukwari became very sick. And on one occasion that Bukwari went to London, he handed over power to Pastor Ruga. If you remember. Then the Saraki's National Assembly started a probe. Okay? A probe of how the money meant for these victims of Boko Haram should be spent. And, of course, Babachir Lawal was indicted. When they started releasing the looting that took place in his office, which I don't really have to go into detail, but there's a particular one that actually stands out. That was using 242 million naira to clear grass in IDP camp. Yep, camp. It may sound somewhat like somewhere organized, camp. Maybe government put it there. No. Victims of Boko Haram who ran away from their communities, right, ended up in abandoned buildings, abandoned schools. They occupied them, inhabitable places. They occupied them. And those are the places called IDP camps in Nigeria. There is no real camp built to serve these victims of terrorism, right? This guy used 242 million naira to clear grass around them. Yeah? And then he got caught. To cover up, they had to send the Air Force, Nigeria Air Force, to go and bomb one of the supposed IDP camps in Ran in Borno State. They bombed an IDP or supposed IDP camp 4 times, not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 times. And they said it was a mistake because they thought it was the gathering of Boko Haram, just to cover up all the boots in all the, until he was finally sacked. And to him, it's like, I'm not saying I'm a saint. How much did I steal? How much are we talking about? Do you know how much money these guys actually ended up stealing? So that was why he left Boko Haram's camp and teamed up with Tifnubu's camp in the same APC. But Tifnubu also, again, shocked him by picking a Muslim ticket. Something that he personally said is totally against his own faith and the law of fairness and all that. In case some of you don't know, it was Babachir and others that contributed money and bought what do you call it? Tifnubu's APC ticket at the time. And of course, he also ended up having to give his backing. Once Tifnubu chose a Muslim, he just ended up with Peter Obi, the obedient movement. Long story. And his reaction to Tifnubu going to the Vatican, going to Rome for Pope's inauguration, is considered an insult, a total insult, according to Babachir, by the way. Listen to that.
Well, Ruben, you've been in government before, and you know how governments are run. You know that going to see the Pope is just a matter of your lobby. How well you can lobby, how many friends you have out there in the Vatican that can lobby for you. So it is not as if it's a major achievement to visit the Pope on his inauguration. It can be arranged in advance by lobbies, probably with the correct inducement. So Bola Tinubu going to visit the Pope is a non-issue. In fact, it reinforces my earlier belief that the Muslim ticket is an insult to Christianity. Had they a Christian as a vice president, it's only expected that he will be the one to represent the government. But now in Nigeria, we have a so-called Muslim visiting the Pope, leading a delegation of Catholics, eminent Catholics, to the Vatican. So it proves the fact that a Muslim ticket is an unfair arrangement. Having said that, about people defecting to the APC, in politics, there are 2 classes of people. Those who go into politics to get something out of it, and those who get into politics to put something into it. Yes, again, I must say, it's not every Nigerian that can withstand hunger, and not every Nigerian can survive a poverty condition. So most of these politicians that are defecting to APC are probably driven by the desire to safeguard their stomachs and to safeguard their luxurious lifestyles that have acquired while in government using the people's money. So it's to them, it's okay. They can go that way. That's what they choose to do. Now, as to defection, I saw a study last week that showed that 21 governors could not deliver their states to their preferred presidential candidates, which means that the governors have little influence on the voter at the polling unit. Yes, within the party political system, they have some influence since they can rig the party primaries in favor of their candidates. So a senator, for example, who is out of favor with his governor is endangered in that sense. His governor might not give him the return ticket. He can just order everybody not to vote for him. But no governor can influence the voter. Take, for example, Delta State. The vice presidential candidate for PDP was the governor, serving governor on seat. But he could not deliver. Peter Obi beat them flat. I mean, flat. In those days, they said they would deposit if it were during the Obasanjo. So what is it? There are states. In Borno State, it's very well known that the vice president could not deliver Borno State to the APC until they did some magic on the results and so that he's not embarrassed. But we know, the voter knows he had been disgraced woefully. So defection is not, it's just a function of the character of the person. It's a function of the character. Somebody without character will easily abandon you when his interest is threatened, rather than when the interests of the masses are threatened. So that is my position. We are not bothered about defections. It will continue to happen. But I mean, 2027 will go to the ballot boxes and we'll see the results. We are confident that it's immaterial.
But what do you say to the critics who say that you are arrogant, you are a religious bigot, and that you should remain silent? What do you say to them? Because I've seen many comments like that.
Babachir, I'm a trained pastor. I went to a seminary 4 years. I came out with a degree in it. I augmented my religious background with a master's degree in theology. So if you call me a Christian religious bigot, I'm very happy. It's a compliment. It means that my lifestyle, my speeches convey the impression that I'm a Christian. So I don't see calling me a religious bigot as an insult. Again, I will not countenance anybody denigrating my religion in any way, in any shape or form, be it in politics or in other aspects of life. If you come out and say a Christian from the North cannot, or the Christianity in the North cannot produce a vice president, it's an insult. And it's to my religion and to my person. So it's a compliment if people call me a religious bigot, because as a Christian, I stand for the truth, which a Christian should do, and I stood for the truth, and I defended my religion, and as God will have it. For those who supported the religion, Muslim ticket because they are Muslims, we go to the same market, and I think majority of them grumble now more than me. Majority of them go to bed without food yesterday, this morning, tomorrow without food, don't know where they are going to get their next meal. So if that is what their religion preaches, you vote people who push it to poverty, let them have their way. Well,
Babachir Lawal, or pastor. We can actually refer to him as a pastor, Babachir Lawal now. He said he studied, he's got masters in theology. See, religion is actually not the problem. It is the people practicing it. Fortunately, Nigeria has one of the worst, if not the worst, characters as their leaders. And they are very religious too. The irony. Pastors, they steal public money. But he will still close his eyes, read the Lord's Prayer. And still believe that he's, so that's why some of us who don't believe in any religion, right, will keep wondering that what exactly do these people fear if they don't fear the God that they profess commitment to. I mean, if somebody who is not religious, right, is stealing public funds, they can say it's because it's not closer to God. But everywhere you turn in that contraption, they are either deacons, deaconesses, Alaji, Alaja, Imam, Sheiki, Pastor, what's that? Like religious this and that. Sure, shepherd, prophet, cardinal, pope, all these things. They have all different titles. And within this space, they have the darkest, the most horrible kind of heart you can come by. Nigeria didn't happen by accident. All these things you are witnessing in that place, they are not happening by accident or coincidence. They are not happening because you are a sinner. It is because they are happening simply because the flawed characters that, the people who are supposed to be the symbol of morality in the society have degenerated so much that they stink. The stench reaches heaven, high heaven, you will say. So Bashir Lawal is not a pushover. That's also something you should know. Okay, he's just one unlucky bastard, I would say, because to him, comparing him, with some of what those with Bukwari did, right? He is seeing himself as a saint, even though in an effort to cover up, they had to kill innocent people running away from Boko Haram, and then got blown up into pieces simply because public officials want to cover up fraud. He is walking free today. He's never tried. The entire investigation was probably abandoned, I would say. That was the end of it. But Babachir Lawal is not a pushover. He is somebody who is really, really involved. And if he says that, they are contemplating on how to get rid of Tifnubu, don't think that's just a joke. And as for Tifnubu himself, he returned back last night. This time they didn't do the usual show us video of Kolu. They had to use image, like they had to join pictures. Now I have questions. Is this even real? I didn't have enough time to go and check if I have seen those pictures before. We're asking that where is a call, where is a Tifnubu, right? And then this morning, they said Tifnubu returned last night. But why are you now using pictures that you join together to make it look like a video, added a sound or something? Like, why? Because right now, even though it is still unconfirmed, I know some of you are already commenting it, coup in Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire. So there's a report that the president of Cote d'Ivoire, Ouattara, is currently missing. He's not been heard from in the last 24 hours. Now, before that, last night, there were reports of, gunshots, artillery, shelling, and all of that stuff in their state, in their country's capital yesterday. But we have not really received comprehensive reports of if indeed there is a coup going on in Cote d'Ivoire. Remember that? You remember that, what's his name again? I can't remember his name, but I will describe him. That guy who is the head of the American AFRICOM, that is African Communication Center, the guy that wants Traore removed, Burkina Faso invaded because of their gold, right? He's been visiting so many of these West African countries, soliciting for their support on how to do it themselves, rather than send an American, sending their own troop to do the job. They would rather Africans do it, so that, like what they say, they have to use one of us to kill the rest of us, so that they can say it is us killing us. Do you understand? Like, it will just be like Africa versus Africa, you get. And then when they kill yourself, burn everywhere down, they will say Africa versus Africa. Not that kind of. So the guy has been visiting some of these African despots